Oven roasting, a critical technique to learn and to understand. Tempering food is critical to any cooking, especially oven roasting. We want to make sure that we take our proteins out of the refrigerator in time for them to come to room temperature. Again, tempering is a critical part of what we want to do. It assures us that our proteins are going to cook more evenly. Now, it may feel room temperature on the outside, but you want to make sure that it's out for a period of time. If you want to use a thermometer to check the interior temperature, that's fine. So it's a very critical part, especially when we're oven roasting. Oven roasting, we're going to put our food obviously in an oven of a specific temperature. The great thing about it is the entire cavity of that oven is heated and surrounding that protein and cooking that protein at the same time at that one temperature. You know, when we pan roast, there's different temperatures that are happening. Certainly when we saute, the same thing. The heat is on the surface of the saute pan that's touching that protein. The surface on the top is not being really impacted that much at all. In here, we have the entire cavity at the same temperature. Make sure, very, very, very important, make sure that your ovens are calibrated. Again, turn your thermostat, turn your oven up to 400 degrees. Buy a oven thermometer, very simple. Put it inside, leave it in there for 20 minutes, a half an hour. Make sure that your oven thermometer reads the same as the temperature that's on the thermostat. If it's not, you may have to call a service person out to make sure that they have an adjustment to get it right. Because when we think about cooking, it's always about time and temperature. Any recipe that you read is going to talk about how long to cook something and what temperature to cook something. And those are critical, but remember, they're only guidelines. It's really up to you and your experience and skill to learn how to monitor the food that you're cooking. And this is anything, whether it's on top of the stove, pan roasting, or roasting in the oven. So we have a lot of different proteins here, some wonderful things. 3 pieces of beef, 2 pieces of lamb, and a chicken. We have a filet here, Chateaubriand, which is just really elegant when it's oven roasted. We have a standing rib, which we're going to do a little later. And as you can see here, it's a beautiful rib. You see the rib eye here and a little bit of that decal that I talked about earlier there. We're going to blowtorch this and cook this at a low temperature. So you're going to learn how to cook not only at a high temperature in an oven, but also at a low temperature. A beautiful sirloin here, and you can just see that marbling. It's just really beautiful. These 2 pieces are coming from our farm in Snake River, Idaho. This is what they call their gold label. There's actually one that is even of a higher quality here that's a black label, so you can imagine the quality of that. Rack of lamb and leg of lamb. Our rack of lamb and leg of lamb come from Pennsylvania, actually western Pennsylvania, in Waynesburg, from a farmer there named Keith Martin, who I've been using Keith's lamb for almost 23 years. So I just want to share a little information about anatomy. This is the rib roast from a cattle. You have a larger eye with the decal. Here, you have a larger decal with a smaller eye. So this is going into the shoulder part of the animal. And this is going to come down into the sirloin part, which is an extension of this. This rack of lamb is an 8-bone rack of lamb. Lamb has 12 bones, and you can see, again, the same. This area here is the decal, so this area is going into the shoulder, where those other ribs will be part of that shoulder cut. And this is going down into the sirloin. So just so you understand a little bit about the anatomy of an animal, all these are really connected to one another, as well as this. Of course, the whole animal is connected to the whole animal, but these are very, very in the same location in the animal, which is the saddle and the rib, kind of in that area. This is a leg of lamb, and you may see some remnants of blue dye. And that blue dye comes from the USDA, which on every piece of meat puts their stamp of approval. And that stamp of approval is to signify the wholesomeness of the animal. So they check the livers and the kidneys and things like that to make sure that the animal is healthy, and therefore then they give you a stamp. That stamp is obviously food grade. It's not an issue. You'll never really see it, even if there are remnants on this and I roast it in the oven. Of course, that would go away and it would become beautifully roasted. When you get to our chicken now, so we have a natural organic chicken here. So it's not fed any antibiotics. The grain, the feed is all organic. One of the most important things about this chicken is that it's air cooled. And that means that instead of being plunged into cool water or cold water to chill down the bird after they're slaughtered, it goes through several chambers, cold air, and cold air is circulated in those chambers to cool down the birds. Now, why is that important? Because as you know, the more water that we have in any protein, the harder it's going to be to cook. And so the water-chilled birds are going to absorb some water, and therefore it's going to be harder to dehydrate. You're not going to have the quality of cooking as we want. So always try to find an organic, air-cooled chicken. That's what we like. And there we have some of our proteins that we're going to throw in our oven and roast them.